Welcome to the DZ Report. Don't you know I love haters? Love all you mother effers. Better fix me some breakfast this morning. I got done watching Twisted Metal Season 2, and I just want to say it was a lot better than Season 1. Season 1, I felt like they built a plot up. It was cool, but certain stuff, like it was like, okay, what are we doing? It was kind of corny, but the second season actually did a lot better. We got to see what's going on in the world. Cars were driving. They had Twisted Metal. We found out the backstory from how Twisted Metal got created. And we found out that this guy came out of a well in 1585, and he has some type of majestic powers, which makes sense because Twisted Metal was crazy. Like, Sweet Tooth for one. Sweet Tooth for one. If you remember in the video game, the ending really doesn't surprise you. Because at the ending, his dad is going to mess with him. If you remember in the game, I believe one of the Sweet Tooth's a character on there was the dad. I might be wrong because I haven't played Twisted Metal in a long time. I ain't played Twisted Metal since I think it was Twisted Metal 2. And the game, it was cool how they incorporated the stories. The writing was very well thought of. The problem with some of these shows, they don't have any good writing. But now that you can stream everything, it's easy to write now. You don't have a problem really writing anything, which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed that about it. Anthony Mackie did a hell of a job. I thought he did a good job last season. The girl who played Quiet, I felt like her character was warranted. And, she looked at okay. You're not going to get any supermodels in post-apocalyptic America, wherever they're at. They're in America. So you're not going to get all the fine dames. Like, you're not going to get the baddest chicks. Now, the sister was fine as hell. I was mad what happened to the sister. The sister basically found out that's her brother. John basically was, sent there. Quiet basically had him there to stay because she cared about him when she should have stayed with him in the first place. They actually loved each other. And you see their bond grow as they're together. Then you find Mayhem, and you find out that Mayhem was a baby of people that Axel terminated. Axel basically was a hired wet work guy. They call it wet work in those type of settings where you're hired to take out certain people for money. And he did. He took them out. Sorry, guys. I just woke up. So if y'all want to roast me, I don't care. I don't really care. I'm chilling. I'm on vacation. So anyway, he basically terminated her family, took care of the baby. He got beat up or something, and the baby was kidnapped, and he saw that same thing around her. And she just said something like, they were like, Axel saved you. And she was like, I just always had a good feeling about that guy, which we understood that he basically took care of her and raised her. And he was heartbroken ever since then. Now, Anthony Mackie, well, he's John Doe on this one. His sister, her fine self, man, she fine. And I was mad when they took her out. But, for them to come up with a plan to get into Twisted Metal, basically, if you win the tournament, you get one wish. However, at the end, Stu, of course, found his buddy Mike. Y'all probably recognize Mike from other stuff. A lot of us remember him from Country Wayne. He was a character on there, a gangster that came from LA. I really don't watch Country Wayne's skits anymore because they just are all over the place. It's more drama now instead of making a great story. But it was a great show, man. I loved how she got involved to talk to her brother to get him to do some things. She wanted to remember him, and they finally remembered each other. They were reconnecting until Axel messed all that up. Axel came, and that's when they realized, oh, okay, this is Axel. So the settings was great. At the end, you thought John passed away, but they got him up. They escaped out of there to the cabin that his sister basically drew for them to go to. His dad created. Then we find out there's a twist on the TV that Calypso, who was the guy in charge, which he did a great job as the villain. I loved his quirkiness. I love his seriousness, but at the same time, he was kind of funny with it. It was cool. I love how all of that came together. One of the other things that was cool was the car that Mayhem, after she unalived somebody, the one guy, the creepy guy, that car where she had voice command, could tell the car what to do, how to get her out of there. They thought she was gone, and Mayhem was basically a great character. She's like the little daughter of the group. Them two, they're basically like the old parents, and like at the end they was trying to get their freak on, and she just busted in the door. And then they did something in the bed, and John was like, yeah, like it's much better in the bed. And then it was good, man. I loved it. Calypso really made it. Calypso and Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth was funny to me. That's my favorite character. Sweet Tooth don't be caring. And then Harold was burned up. He was mad as hell. But yeah, they created this little walking machine that Calypso created from John's sister. At the end, you notice like the sister sort of took over. Then she went back to being mind control. But she kind of, if you look at it, she really remembers John. So I could possibly see this next season that they snap her out of it. And because now they're fugitives, and Stu managed to come back. He wished for to be in a place where they're away from there. Calypso sent them in space with his buddy Mike, who was unalived because John and Quiet, shot him up. So it is what it is. This season I give 3.5 out of 4 stars. I don't give it the full 4 out of 4 because I didn't like how they unalived the black girl and the black guy. I did not like that. I felt like Mike should have lasted. Mike, to me, should have made it, but hey, it is what it is. And the black girl, they done turned into a mindless monster. I did not like that. Why does it got to be a black character? People may listen to this and say, oh, man, you complaining. Yeah, I'm complaining. I did not want the fine black girl to be a monster. They took out all the black characters except John, which I'm happy for. John made it. I'm like, thank you. Because at first I thought they was going to take John out. I was about to give this like a 2.5 out of 4. I'm dead serious. I do not play about my ratings. Like if I don't like something, it's going to come out. But it's very enjoyable. Way better than the first season. 3.5 out of 4. I want to see where they go from here. Now that they're fugitives. We're basically going to get sorry about that, y'all. Sore as hell. Now that they're fugitives, we're basically going to get a wider range of stories going on. They got to find the car. Then we find out Sweet Tooth's dad is still alive. and he wants him to come see him. So we're gonna see how that story goes. Hopefully it's well written, it's well versed. I hope it's well written. I hope they don't rush it. Like, just make it what you can make it. That's how I look at it. That's all I want. That's all I wanted to do. So Calypso was good. The cannibal who was cool with Mike, he was alright. He was a cool dude, but he was way too nice. That's how I know he still was doing what he was doing. And then Stu, we got to see Stu's character really go off this season. Like, he was unaliving people throughout the season. Like, it was hilarious, man. Like, I loved everything about it. I felt like season 1. I might go back and watch season 1 just to watch it again and then compare it to season 2. But Sweet Tooth was very, like, how do I say? Very great character development with Sweet Tooth. I love the emotions, the movements, the how he could joke and then all of a sudden turn serious. Love that. I thought that was dope. So we'll see, man, if they we'll see what they do with season 3. Hopefully they do have a season 3. To me, season 3 is going to incorporate more of the world, to see like what's going on out there. You're going to see different factions come together. We get to meet Sweet Tooth's father, which is going to be dope to see if he's exactly the same way or he's opposite. We're going to see if any other character survived from the tournament. Like Axel, we know, got shocked to, he got shocked till he was no more. We'll see. It's a lot of stuff that can go with this series. Like I said, I love the showrunners. I love what everybody did. Stephanie Beatrice, she does a great job as Quiet. I loved Anthony Mackie as John Doe. He did a hell of a job. Sailor Curta as Mayhem. She did a great job. Raven, the girl who played Raven, the lady played Raven, Patty Guggenheim, she did a hell of a job. Samoa Joe was Sweet Tooth, man. He did a hell of a job. The guy who played Mike did good, and Stu, it was dope. It was dope. The one who played Axel, Michael James Shaw, he did a hell of a job. Now, this is the girl, Dollface, Tiana Okoye, who's John's sister, man. Psh, man, she fine as hell. She fine as hell. Her name is Tiana Okoye. She fine. It was funny because Axel, she saw Axel, she was like, damn. And then Axel, Axel, Axel was looking like, man, fine as hell. But I mean, it was a great series. I loved what everybody did. Everyone brought their own flavor. The video game, I'm glad they incorporated the video game in season 2. I didn't like season 1 because of that. I felt like it could have been a lot better. But I'm going to go back and watch season 1, and I'm going to see how I like it again. I might like it again, like if you watch it again. But season 2 is great. I gave it 3.5 out of 4 stars. Make sure you watch Twisted Metal. Hopefully we get hopefully we get season 3. You know, I'm hoping for season 3 to happen, man, because I think season 3 will be dope, personally. I think season 3 will be dope, personally. And we get to explore the world. We get to see Sweet Tooth Dad. Like I said, Quiet and John, we're going to see their relationship, you know, get a little closer. Mayhem and Stu. So now you got 4 characters. And we're going to see if he can get his sister from being brain controlled like she is. Because at first, like, her eyes went back to normal. Like, she knew who John was, like her family. So we'll see. I think what's going to happen is she's going to end up turning back to their side, or she might pass away because of all the stress on her body and stuff. But again, we'll see. I think they'll probably click up back with the doll faces, and we'll go from there. But Calypso, how he set it up and then unalived a crowd of people so they could push the war thing, which was genius. Calypso was great. Like, the guy who played Calypso, let me see, what's his name? Hold on, let me do this first though. Got to make a thumbnail. Yeah, the guy who played Calypso was good. Like, who? I'm trying to remember who was the guy. Let's see. Because there's, like, people who make video games, like either movies or shows, they need to follow Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal has done it correctly. You know, and I love that they did that. Man, where's the... Yeah, who played Calypso? Okay, Anthony Carrigan. Carrigan is a very good, great actor. Great actor. He did a great job. I mean, he did a great job in this. I felt like he did what he was supposed to do. You know, I loved it. I love what he's done. I love what he did to it and stuff. You know, hey, love what he did to it. Felt like all the characters had their own personality. Even the ones who were unalive during the tournament, you kind of like those characters. Like, you kind of wanted to say, okay, well, even though they're gone, you wanted to say, oh, okay, then. So, you know, you wanted to see how great, you know, they would be. And some of them didn't make it. So it was kind of cool to see what they were doing. But yeah. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the Twisted Metal folk. Hopefully we get a season 3. 3.5 out of 4 stars. Loved it. Sweet Tooth was my favorite character on the show. Even from season 1. I love Sweet Tooth. Like, he just stole the show. In this season, Calypso stole the show. Calypso did a great job. I love how they set up season 3 and 4. I love at the end, the last episode, they did the backstory. That was good. I love how they do backstories now. Instead of giving us a whole episode and all of that, they just show us certain stuff, boom, move on. That's what I love about Alien Earth. Like, some people already complaining, why didn't they show the crew being dead like why? Like, it happened. Like, let's get to the story. They could show that in a flashback. But whatever. Thank y'all for listening, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this. I meant to tell y'all to hit the like button in the beginning. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new here. Share it. Hit the notification bell to select all to receive upcoming notifications. And if y'all love what you hear, donate to the page. Go to the description box. I have it clipped, I believe. I think I have it clipped. But yeah, share this video to all your platforms. This is the HDiiTV Report signing off. Peace.